Imagine walking into your boss's office and giving notice because your writing has become your primary revenue stream. Or your podcast is successful enough that you can quit your day job. Or maybe having your marketing on autopilot so you can spend your time on the art career you love rather than on marketing. Are you a creative person who's great at what you do, but marketing makes you freeze? You're not alone. I help passionate, purpose-driven creatives overcome fear, find their brand voice, and build a marketing strategy that works for them. Oh yeah, I also make it easy and painless. It's never too late to grow the business you've been dreaming about. Book an introductory call with me, Rob Southgate, at southgatesmallbusiness.com today. And let's take the pain out of marketing together. Horsemen Publications is back at Indy PopCon with 14 incredible authors and more books than ever before. Meet and get books signed by Erica Lance, Valerie Willis, J.M. Paquette, Eric Deckers, Rick Hines, Morgan Moreau and Katie Jenkins, Nick Smith, P.C. Nottingham, Andy T. Hansen, Chelsea Burton Dunn, and K.N. Fitzwater. Catch them all at the Four Horsemen booth at Indy PopCon. PopCon Indy runs June 25th through the 29th, 2025 at the Indianapolis Convention Center. Get more information and order tickets at popcon.us/popcon-indy or click the link in this episode's show notes. But wait, we can't start yet. You need to know about today's podcast. This is an interview from 2024 that was only shared through newsletters and Facebook pages. Since we now have an Ink Blots podcast and don't want you to miss out on these fantastic interviews, I decided to share them here. Make sure to check the current lineup at events that we talk about on these shows. You want to make sure that the authors we're interviewing are appearing this year. Okay, back to the podcast. Welcome to Ink Blots, the show where I interview authors about their lives, writing, and the books they love. Be sure to follow the Ink Blots podcast on Substack. Not only can you listen to the latest episodes, but our Substack also has interview transcriptions and links to books and other items that we talk about on the show. If you like what we're doing, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on YouTube. It really helps us and our sponsors out. Oh, and leave comments. We really do read and respond to every one. Now, let's get on with the show. Welcome to Ink Blots. I am Rob Southgate, your host right now again. I know it always sounds confusing to me because I thought I'd have guest hosts. In the future, Ink Blots will have other voices other than mine. But here we are today, and I have another author from Writers Row at PopCon Louisville.
Hi.
Yes, I have K.N.Fitzwater, who we're going to call Katrina for the rest of this time. Hi, Katrina. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Rob. Nice to meet you. Happy to be here.
You've met me before. We can say that, but it's going to be our first time meeting in person, which is going to be really interesting.
Oh, that would be so fun.
Have you met any of the authors, anybody there in person already?
No, I live under a rock, Rob. I don't meet anyone outside of my rock.
So a couple of pill bugs, maybe a worm, and that's it. Your whole life.
Yeah, that's about it. Not really outstanding, amazing authors, but
you're going to have so much fun and especially since Erica, who is your publisher, and Val and your marketing guy, we're all going to be there. You get us all in one spot.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, very exciting. And we're dying over it. We're excited to meet everybody that we haven't met, and it's going to be so cool. So cool. Okay, so let's start out this way.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself? Give some history, how you ended up here.
Well, I'm a Kentucky girl, so going to this PopCon Louisville is on my home turf. Though I don't live in Louisville, I live in Lexington, home, born and raised, I've been immersed in fantasy everything since, almost since I was born. My parents and their friends love Dungeons and Dragons, love watching like Star Wars and Star Trek, though that's more of the sci-fi kind of stuff. And
it's
yes,
all nerddom, though. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, like my dad loved Lord of the Rings ever since he got it when he was in middle school. He tried teaching us kids how to speak in Elvish. And
I like that.
We have the Lord of the Rings map in the dining room. It's all framed. And I found that map for my dad when I was in college. It was that gold printed foil version of the
Hmm.
Peter Jackson map. So
Beautiful.
I got that for my dad, and it's been in the family ever since. So
We traded in
very,
our
very
wedding
geek.
rings, and then I've got the one ring. You can't see it on camera, but
No,
in person you'll be able to see it. It's got the
it's
Elvish on
still
it.
a duel. How could
So
you?
there it is. I've got it on my hand all the time.
Uh,
So yeah, I love it. I love it. And I all that stuff. It's all nerddom. It's all what we're
hmm
into, you know? So cool. And I got another question. You're in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Are you into the paranormal? Do you know the Kentucky Goblins?
Oh, I never heard of the Kentucky Goblins, but I do love watching my favorite paranormal guy, D-Tune. He used to live up in Ohio, not really in Kentucky, but up in Ohio. He live streams his paranormal investigations on Twitch.
Wait, who is this?
DE Detune, D-Tune, also known as Jordan. They're an amazing non-binary person doing live paranormal investigations on his Twitch. That way, like skeptics and believers could like watch as things happen.
Things
They try
happen,
to
yeah.
debug at at the moment, try to figure things out, and then he will showcase his editing process live on Twitch after it's all done and everyone looks at the footage. He tries to debunk it. It's awesome,
I
so
am so into
love
this
watching
idea. I'm
that.
going to look him up. Okay, so we're going to go on a tangent for 1 second. At
Hmm
PopCon, so Erica, the CEO of Four Horsemen, she has a
Yeah.
podcast called Eerie Travels that she does with Mark Muncy, and they talk about cryptids and that all over, like at certain locations. And then I have a hidden group called Graphic Tales. Uh,
Ooh.
yes, it's hidden on Facebook, and I do an occasional podcast on there, but I don't put it out to the public. It's only this little. I'll have a good interview. I'm going to invite D-Tune onto mine for sure,
Go
and
for
I
it.
will tell. Oh yeah, and I get them. I get them. So I'll have D-Tune. And Erica, I'm sure will want to have him on. And then Erica and I do a panel together, Eerie Travels / Graphic Tales. We did it at Indy PopCon. We're doing it again here
Hmm
at Louisville, where she is talking about. So she talks about like I'm sure she'll talk about the Kentucky Goblins. I'm sure of it. Uh, I will be talking about, what I do is I collect stories from people and I tell their stories. So I've got a good Mothman story I'm going to tell.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Got to
The
tell you,
best
yeah.
stories are from what you heard from someone else, and then you get to be
Yeah.
that storyteller, bring it to life. So
Yeah.
that's
Well,
really
and
cool.
what I love is the people that come with, and it's not the friend of a friend, but it's like,
Hmm
oh, they tell you their story, and it's like you're looking in their face. My friend who has a Mothman story had an experience. So
Wow.
his story is firsthand, and his description is like, what are you telling me? It's so awesome. So, okay. And
Can't
the
wait.
Kentucky Goblins, I have a suggestion for you.
Okay.
You don't have time between now and then unless you're going to just sit and binge. But on YouTube, there's a show called Hellier, Helier.
Okay, I'm
And
writing this down. Ugh.
you need to fall into this documentary. And it plays into the Kentucky Goblins in a big way, but that's not what it started out as. Okay. It started out as something else, then all of a sudden we're dealing
You
with
fall
Kentucky
into this.
Goblins. Yeah, it
Ooh.
is phenomenal. And the Kentucky Goblin story, when you read it, you'll be like, oh my God, now I'm obsessed. And we'll have to reach out to D-Tune and see if we can get D-Tune to come to Louisville with us maybe
Yeah.
next year, and we'll go hunt Kentucky Goblins.
Oh,
Okay,
that would be cool.
enough about D-Tune. Welcome to the D-Tune podcast. Uh, you've got a book, your first book with Four
Yeah.
Horsemen coming out. As far as we know, and I cannot say this 100%, but I think it's probably 99%, the book you just showed there will be debuted to the public at Writers Row in Louisville, PopCon.
Yes. Yes.
Why don't you tell people
Exclusive.
about your book?
Well, the Doppelganger Queen is about Aramis Perez, who has to get over, or not get over, push through all the failures that had occurred right off the bat. Like first chapter, he lost his friends in a terrible expedition, lost his marriage, um, lost almost everything. But he has to somehow navigate the shifting sands, not only in this world, but also in his heart and soul, to combat the doppelganger queen, who is trying to get rid everything that he held dear in his heart with the tome that could summon these dastardly ghouls. So it's a bit of a time crunch, a bit of um, overcoming a lot of emotional disasters. There's explosions, there's monsters eating people. Um, there's a lot of twists and turns. I think you all will really love it.
Well, and I'm looking at your categories. You've got fantasy, you've got horror in there. There's
Hmm.
LGBTQ, which does
Yes.
great in our booth.
Yes.
There's a little romance to it, and
Yeah, just a little bit of romance. Very unexpected. When I was writing this, I'm not a romance reader. Okay, my mom loves her body ripping romance with the Scotsman, like
sure.
shirtless, everything. I'm on the opposite end. I'm just not into reading romance. I felt like, oh, come on, can't they just do XYZ? Why can't they communicate? And this kind of blossomed into a romance. And I heard
Interesting.
from my beta readers that if you want a good triangle or technically, a angle, I guess, like a two-way.
Not really a
Um,
triangle. It's okay.
if you want a really good budding romance between two good friends, I think you will also enjoy this book, as well as overcoming some terrible relationship toxicity, going into something that's a little bit healthier for Aramis.
So, this is the first book. I just want to say this too in the Silver Fox series. So, this is a
Yes.
chance for you. People are always coming up to us saying, I want to get into a new series. I want something brand new. Here it is. Brand
Yep.
new Fox series. Uh, Exciting. So this will be there. You can get it signed. You can get a
Hmm.
selfie with Katrina. We also have panels that'll be going on, and Katrina's going to be on panels. And
Yeah.
we have not announced what she's on yet, but we have started. If you go to the Writers Row Facebook page, uh, that's the best place because we're just putting every panel listed, the times and everything. It's got interviews with everybody. It's
Yep.
got all sorts of stuff. So watch for that
And
announcement.
Instagram. Don't
And
forget
Instagram, yes.
Instagram.
Yes. And
Yes.
our Instagram, and we have two Instagrams. We have one which is at Writers Row. Okay. And that's where you see
Mhm.
this kind of announcement stuff. And then we have one called Writers Row at Cons, which is filling up with pictures of people holding the books at Writers Row, pictures of the panels, pictures of the authors. It's awesome. It is awesome. And we're going to have so much more footage at this one. This isn't a plug for that. This is a plug for you. So Doppelganger Queen will be there. Uh,
Yes.
so definitely come out for that. Okay, now let's get into our other questions.
Oh, oh, dun, dun, dun. Oh, just
Yes.
letting you know, audience members, it will be exclusive at the PopCon. If you want the physical book in your meaty hands so you could sink your teeth into it, it will be there. So please, please, please
Yes, at
show up,
PopCon Louisville.
be there. Otherwise, you have to wait until December.
Yeah, right. And you're
Sad
going to get so
face.
excited after you talk to her, you're going to be like, great, now I got to wait till December. Although you could do a
Yeah.
pre-order, I guess, but you're still
Oh,
waiting.
yeah. There's always pre-orders,
That's right.
but if you can't wait, see me.
Okay, Katrina, what inspired you to start writing?
Well, I had a good friend way back in 2015, 2016, who was a local actor, who was doing a lot of acting gigs. And I felt I wanted to do something more creative than just violin or crocheting. So I went with her on these acting gigs, eventually stumbled upon this local script writing group. And that made me realize, oh, I don't want to do acting, I want to write stories. And it made me remember all the time that I was creating stories in my head ever since I was a kid. I told stories to my like siblings. It just brought everything back. And that group had dissolved, but I carried that nugget of fire that, oh, I'm going to start creating stories. The first story I was trying to make, everyone got along too well. There was no conflict, there was no tension. The Doppelganger Queen was my problem-solving story to try to create conflict. Everyone's going against each other, and how do they resolve differences? But sometimes they don't. And after writing the first draft, it was supposed to be a short story.
Okay.
I realized, oh no, I'm gonna be an author.
Oh no.
Oh no. But it was wonderful, just tapping to that creative well and be able to tell more about these characters, and shape and mold the experiences that they will encounter. And um, it was going back to my roots in a way, because I do that to my siblings, just trying to entertain them because we didn't have much growing up. So
Sure.
that was how I got into this.
Sure. Make up your own entertainment, right?
Mhm.
So you mentioned earlier that you like your family was way into sci-fi and fantasy and all the nerdy stuff.
Right.
Uh would you say that you were primarily like a fantasy person, or are you just like bleeding heart nerd?
I really got into fantasy, and there was a PBS channel about like mystery. So I learned about my Sherlock Holmes. I learned my Hercule Poirot. So I have that detective mystery side thrown into the mix. I really love my Sherlock Holmes. I have the adventure book somewhere, and some of that went into Harry Potter before I learned about what happened with the author. That whole sense of mystery mixing with fantasy did
Right.
very well with me. You will see a little bit of that investigative feeling in this book as well. But detective mystery novels are really my thing. Horror really came about pretty recent in my life, like about 5 years or so. Horror is really a great um, genre for me to express all these feelings I have been having. It's like listening to rock and roll music or heavy metal. It's like purging a poison,
Hmm.
siphoning it out a wound. And I really had neglected diving into the horror genre, novels. So that's what I'm exploring right now. A little bit of magical realism and definitely trying to explore more the horror side of things.
You're going to have Ben Young, Edmund Stone, Erica Lance. I mean, these are all horror authors. It's okay. These are all horror authors that are going to be right there talking to you. Yeah, you're going to have a little bit of fun with this. I have a feeling. Okay. Okay. So here's a question. I was going to go a different way. I was going to go more softball, but I'm not.
Oh
So
no.
I want to know, since you kind of started to go into it, has writing taught you anything about the world or about yourself?
I used to have a black and white view of the world, like what is just, what is good, and what is like evil or wrong. And writing the Doppelganger Queen and all the other stories, I realize it's all a little bit gray. Everything just kind of blurs. It's all situational. And people are so diverse, not only physically with our bodies, but also with our minds. No two people could look at the same thing and say, yeah, that is exactly what it is. Everyone's going to come in different angles. And that's all based on our morality, our life experience, and how they deal with the loss of society. What is, their upbringing, dealing with, these type of situations. Some people have this survival mode that they're trying to go through. What can I gain out of this so I can like live the next day? Some people approach it in a more idealistic kind of manner. And what is, the ideal depends on which idea is paramount to each individual character. And it just made me realize that not everything is so quick and dry in this world. And it comes with trying to be more empathetic with people's different backgrounds and situations and how they came or how they approach this situation and try to have more sympathy to the individual going through these things, especially those who had committed crime. Like, um, it could be someone who's been forced into a gang trying to fit in with this gang, and they felt like I'm up against this wall. I have to do XYZ. Otherwise, I'm going to be next.
Right. They don't see a
And
way out. Right.
right, right. And we have this really hard and fast rule and dynamic in our society now that, there's no leeway, there's no grace period. Either you do the thing, you pay for it, and you pay for it to the extreme. There's no real, in a sense of forgiveness or leeway or like sympathy to other people's unique circumstances and experience. And that's what I have gleaned from writing about Aramis Perez, who was a hero that became a criminal and is trying to right those wrongs and tends to relapse. And sometimes we may be rooting for the silver fox. Other times we'll be very disappointed in what he does. And I still love him despite all of his flaws.
Right. But he's not an unflawed hero. Right.
Right, right. And I think that just makes me more empathetic to the human experience, like another person. Like, no one is perfect. I'm not perfect, even though I try to be the best version of myself. The those around me are still doing the best that they can with the circumstances or the resources that are given to them. And sometimes, there is parts of our society that really put in major obstacles and hurdles where they're not able to like get over those. We have like systematic racism. We have like marginalized communities, like the queer community is very marginalized, and even more so with this political election that's going on. And those obstacles are mounting as the years go on. What can we do as a society to help dismantle those, help
Right.
people be on the same level plane as we are, and try to be more sympathetic of where they're coming from, why they're reacting this way, and try to get along,
Yeah.
and that's hard.
Yeah. We often talk about it here, that we like to start from a baseline that we're all human. If you start
Hmm.
there, we're all human. Okay, we're all starting
Right,
from this same starting point. And if the baseline of that is, well, the most important thing is love, it makes it harder to look at another person and say, well, you have less value than me,
right,
or I hate you because blank. Like,
right.
no. So yeah, I get that. I totally get that. And I think that probably for us, it's reading and writing that and music that did shape that within us. So, okay, next question. We got all heavy there. Uh,
Oh yeah.
so now I
It's
want to
dark
hear,
fantasy. We're going to
yeah,
get heavy.
that's right. That's right. Isn't that the purpose? Uh,
Hmm.
okay. This is going to be a really unfair question. I'm going to warn you.
Oh no.
I'm going to alleviate a little of the pressure first before I am unfair to you. This question is right now in this conversation. Okay. So here's the question. Who are the three authors that have inspired you the most?
Right off the bat, R.A. Salvatore, the amazing author from the TSR slash D&D Forgotten Realms. I love how he does his action scenes. They're remarkable. And because how remarkable he was, I made my action scenes a lot shorter and different. But he was an amazing inspiration, and he has a plethora of incredible stories about Dritz Jordan and the Companions of the Hall. Um, Absolute icon. So number one goes to him.
Excellent.
Number two is Tolkien. I I was raised in a household where my dad loves Tolkien, okay, but I didn't really get into the books until after the movies. I'm very slow. in diving into the Tolkien realm. Because I thought, oh, I could just glean all of this from my dad, but
Right,
eventually
right.
I wanted to like dive into it more. He was able to have such great emotional intelligence with his characters, where it is still relevant to this day. About like male toxicity from Boromir when he was enraptured by the ring, and how you have this camaraderie of men and men from not only humans but also like elves and dwarves
Right.
trying to come together despite all of this political brouhaha that separated them. And how this group of people come together, how they react to these devastating circumstances, and how Frodo eventually kind of break, near the end of the Return of the King, he was able to describe what we will now call PTSD,
Right. But then they
survivor
didn't have a word
skill,
for it. Yeah.
shell shock, right? And it was so accurate and so not tender, but like he had the emotional withdrawal to like describe it and showcase it in a way that is impressive to me. Not only just the amazing world building that he had constructed and all of its history and this major epic conflict. In the end, it was the emotional experience that made me love Tolkien so much. So I
Great
got
answer.
two.
That's two. What's number
Oh,
three?
geez. I'm trying to think who is. I've been trying to read outside of my like wheelhouse,
Hmm.
and N.K. Jemisin was one of those authors that I'm like diving into. I have read The City We Became, and the first chapter was an exquisite first person view of this person becoming the city of New York and how he had his experience and his line of thinking is wonderful. It was delicious. And just how it changes from each character's point of view, the writing style, the diction, the phrasing changes with
Yeah.
each character. It's like, oh my goodness, you're a goddess.
Like a new
So
voice every time that is truly a new voice.
it's incredible,
I love that.
absolutely incredible. So she's like one of my newer author favorites for sure.
There you go.
Yeah,
You did it. You did it. You didn't
I
even
did it.
panic. Okay. I got two more questions for you.
Okay.
First one. This is your dream convention. We're going to PopCon, okay?
Hmm.
Doesn't have to
Hmm.
be PopCon. This is your dream convention. So no
Oh, wow.
restrictors, whatever. Who is it you would most want to meet and have a conversation with?
I never had a chance to have that book signing in person with R.S. Salvatore. Um, he's still around, but I never had a chance to actually like pick his brain and like see like how he keeps making these stories and keep like running through it. And he's a pantser like I am. So he does it on the fly and like he like puts it out there and it just works. I have one character who I absolutely hated and eventually I come to love. It's like, oh, how dare you do this? I would love to like meet him in person. Fun story. I had all the hardcover books, like the Claire Quintet, the Drow background story for Judge Jordan, etc. I was going to my high school prom with a good friend of mine, and my parents knew he was in town, knew I was dealing with prom, took all the books, had him sign, talked to him
That
about
is
like how
cool.
he was doing, all of his cool
Yeah,
magic. And as soon as I got in the car after prom, they showed me the books and his signature. I screamed. I
that is
absolutely
really
screamed.
awesome. See, we always tell our daughter we're going to troll her if she goes off to college. We're going to go to like, Disney World. We're going to go to like concerts and take selfies and troll her that way. Your parents are much nicer than us. That's really a
Yeah.
cool story.
And
That
they
is really
totally hid it from me. So next time, if I ever have a chance, I would love to poke his brain, like his storytelling genius.
he would probably go crazy for that story too. Like it's so awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. Is there anyone you've been watching the videos, listening to the podcasts, looking at the lineup? Is there anyone that you're most excited to meet in person from Writers Row?
Now that is a hard question. I don't know.
Okay, so
I
the ones you don't mention are going to be angry and tearful. I'm just going to tell you, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Is there anyone that kind of stood out like, you know what, I do really want to meet so and so?
Oh my God, it's
You're going to meet
April
them all.
1. Honestly, I don't know. I want to meet April 1 just to see like who they are as a person and to actually talk shop and like have fun. And I really don't have one person. I
Okay.
can't choose. You
Okay.
can't make me.
Fair enough. I won't. I won't. That would be way too cruel. All right. Katrina, what is the best social media that you like to interact with fans at? What do you use?
Oh, right now I'm totally into the metaverse. So Instagram and Threads. You could find me at KN Fitzwater. And if you want to see me on Twitch, is Spark 912. You could find that on my website, also KN Fitzwater, for more details.
Wonderful. All right. Everybody come out to PopCon Louisville, meet K.N. Fitzwater, get the book, get it signed, get a selfie. I think there might be some bookmarks there. See her on
Yeah.
panels. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be so much fun. I look forward to it. I'm going to see you in, oh my God, a few days.
Yeah, you better hurry, folks. If you don't have your tickets, you
Get those
gotta get
tickets.
them in.
That's right. All right. Thank you, Katrina. We'll see you on Friday.
Yeah, and thank you for having me here on Ink Blots. It's wonderful having you talk to me, and this is a blast. I love it.